Hello everybody, Jared the Cat 88 here. No, this is not a G F review, but this is more of conventions etiquette. Let's get down to it. Good stuff. Anyway, we're here to just talk about convention tips, convention etiquette, and give you an example of what not to do when you go to these events. If you want another version of what I'm saying, there's another video of this in my history, but I feel like some of this stuff I have to go over again. We're going to add a couple little bits here. Okay, a little bit of a rundown about myself on conventions. I've been going to anime conventions since 2015 at the age of 24. However, I've been going to conventions of all types since between 1995 to 1996, since I was a little wee one. Anyway, most of the stuff more pertains to the geekdom conventions, like comic book, anime, video games, tabletop conventions. But some of the stuff will apply to other types of conventions too, and this is just kind of a way of, this is just some stuff I've experienced in life for going to these conventions. I've gone to conventions for anime, comic book, hunting, fishing, camping, agricultural, FFA. It's just a little quick rundown. Between those 7 categories, I've been to about 40, maybe a little bit more than 40 conventions in my life. 8 anime conventions alone. I also went to 2 mini conventions earlier this year, including one last weekend. Small rundown. That's as far as I'm going to say with the rundown, because, well, that's all I really can say. Most of the stuff I can't even remember. But anyway, what you got to remember with conventions is they're gathering places. It doesn't matter if you're there for, trying to get hunting tips. You're trying to, see how many people are interested in the same anime you're a fan of, or just similar interests, or if you're in the same political parties. But you have to remember certain bits of etiquette. Yeah, just about burped there. Damn, you drink. It's actually G Fuel cotton candy. Really good. See my review. Anyway, all of this stuff will mainly pertain to anime, video game, comic books, tabletop conventions, stuff like that. But some of this stuff will pertain to all. Prime example of something that pertains to all: take a shower. For the love of God, take a shower. It's amazing. You go to these events, no matter what kind of topic it is, and there's still so many people who smell like walking death. It's amazing. And not in a good way. In a horrifying way. Another thing that pertains to all types of conventions: keep yourself hydrated. Keep yourself hydrated. Soda and alcohol are not sources of hydration. Drink a lot of water. Drink a lot of Gatorade. Just get fluids that are actually going to keep you hydrated, instead of stuff that in about 3 hours are probably going to be, I can't fucking move. You don't want that. I've seen people get dehydrated at these things. It's not fun to watch. I've also seen people overheat at these things. Like I said, it doesn't matter what kind of convention you go to. Keep yourself hydrated. Some of this stuff is also going to, like I said, pertain to anime, comics, video games, blah, blah, blah. The geekdom conventions, which is the main focus of this video. Remember, people, when you go see your favorite guest, now mind you, this part also goes towards other conventions. You see a guest that you really like seeing, like, for example, Billy West. You see Billy West at your convention. That's awesome. I met Billy West 2 years ago. He's an awesome guy. You have to remember to keep your conversations somewhat brief. This sounds a little bit cold, and you might not want to, and you might want to just pour over certain episode topics. Don't, because they got stuff to do. You got stuff to do. And there is a line of people behind you who want an autograph. Keep it brief. At the most, 5-minute conversation. I know when I talked to Billy West, it felt like more about 10 minutes. But that was a fun time. But he was also passed out a lot of time for signings. That's the other thing. When you do these signings, they're there for an allotted time. They have stuff to do. You might have a panel that you're probably going to miss. Or, I don't know, you're going to a fishing convention and you see Bill Dance. I've actually met Bill Dance before, too. Cool guy. I'll keep that right there. Discussion of controversial topics. This is one part I wanted to touch up on, and I'm going to try to keep as brief with this as I can. Controversial topics they're inevitably a massive, massive part of cons, no matter where you're at. I mean, last year, one of the biggest topics when I went to Midwest was the banning of Momokun from, I think it was Anime Expo over in Los Angeles, which was going the same weekend as Midwest. I won't go into details, and if you guys want to see what my views were on the whole Momokun thing, there's a couple videos of it in my catalog. But the fact that she got banned for sexual harassment, grabbing a woman's top, and burning a woman's breasts right there in front of God and everybody. We found all this stuff out on day 0. Because apparently it happened on day 0. Not going to go into depth there because, like I said, I beat that dead horse where it was nothing. Another controversial topic for cons, especially this year, is the Vic Mignogna situation. I don't care what anyone's opinion is on that, on the whole topic and everything. Just know that it might not be the best place to talk about those at an anime con unless you are in a group of people who they're more than willing to talk it and more than willing to be civil. There's a lot of crazies. For those who don't know what's going on with Vic Mignogna was fired from both Funimation and Rooster Teeth amid sexual misconduct and sexual harassment allegations as well. But there's a giant controversy with that with, evidence or lack thereof. I'm not going to go into too much depth on this because if I do, this video will be probably about 2 hours long, and an hour 50 minutes of it is going to be nothing but Vic. So that'll be another video down the line. Might talk about it during my live stream later. Go to twitch.tv/JaredTheCat. Hit me up with a follow. Anyway, controversial topics, it doesn't matter if it's something like that, or if it's politics or whatever. You don't want to discuss it because literally it can turn into a giant shit show. I've witnessed this. Also, I witnessed this at ACE in 2016 and Midwest 2017, where there was a guy who brought a sign that said that was a Trump Make America Great Again sign. He did that for his cosplay, and several people have called him out on it. I'll leave it there. I turn my phone go off. Leave it there. Anyway, we're going to touch up a little bit on the Momokun bit here, mainly because what she did was reprehensible. But don't do that. Just because somebody's in cosplay doesn't mean they're consenting to anything. You're not going to be able to walk up to a Supersonico cosplayer who's well endowed. Let's just say for try to be somewhat PG. I see I already said shit a couple times in this video. Including right there. Like, okay, like you can't walk up to a woman who's probably dressed up as Sonico in bikini or whatever and start grabbing her breasts. You can't do that unless there's consent. Remember, people, consent is key in life. What makes sex sex and doesn't make sex rape? Consent. What makes taxes theft? The fact that there's no consent. Anyway, politics. I'll leave it there. But no, you can't. You also can't use your cosplay as an excuse to be a dick. What do I mean by that? There is a history of Deadpool cosplayers who will go to these conventions and everything, and they'll start, like, I don't know, there's one that grabbing a kid off of a father's shoulders, and the father about beat the shit out of the guy. You can't use your cosplay as a reason to be a reprehensible person. You can't do it. Otherwise, con ops, con staff, con security, con everybody, even con goers are going to look at you and go, get the fuck out of my convention. Get out. Don't come back. Because if you're doing something like that, then really, you're just a shitty person. Oh, don't be pulling fire alarms, Homestuck fan base. Don't be doing that. I went to ASA one year, the fire alarm was pulled a few times, and it was linked to the Homestuck fan base. Don't do it because that would be a waste of taxpayer dollars. Oh, okay, back to alcohol. Some cons will be able to sell alcohol on the floor. Depending on how big of a convention you're going to, you'll be able to get a mixed drink. Like, I went to Midwest last year, and they're selling themed drinks based on the Pokemon Squirtle from Pokemon. Much redundant statement. I realized that, but I just woke up. But don't be drinking about 10 or 20 of those. You're probably going to want one or two if you actually do drink. Don't drink a bunch because you're not going to remember shit if you do. If I drank a shitload at the con, then I probably wouldn't be able to remember them at Billy West. But you have to also remember, we're all here to get along with everybody. We're all here to enjoy a weekend where we're not having to deal with jobs or not having to deal with certain responsibilities. Some people do bring their kids, some people do bring their families. That's fine. Let's see. Props. This man, like I said, this goes back to video game, anime, blah, 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 blah. Some cons will allow people to bring Nerf guns. Some cons will let you bring something like this. Others won't. For the record, Diva Mains, where you at? Because some of these, like I went to Zap this year. I haven't used that as Kleenexes because my nose has been so stuffed up. But you wouldn't be able to use something like this because it operates. Literally. Can't use it. Certain cons you can't use a Nerf gun as part of your prop. Some you can. Some you can't. Leave it at that. Because to them, you might have this thing loaded. You might have this bad boy loaded and shoot somebody in the eye. Trust me, I have bad luck getting shot in the eyeballs with Nerf guns. I'm surprised I still have my eyes. But swords, just don't. please. Nothing steel, shiny, pointy. Because they will probably just be like, get that out. Or at the very least, they'll have that. You have to keep that in your sheath. It's like if you have a sword, you have to keep it in your sheath, and it has to be zip tied shut. Has to be. If you have a prop that's questionable, you go to ConOps to make sure everything is okay. Otherwise, they'll just be like, nope, take that back to your hotel room. Speaking of weapons, it doesn't matter if you're buying swords at anime conventions or if you're buying a AR-15 at a gun show. Gun shows are conventions. You will be a lot of places will force you to take that back to your hotel room, or they will put a hold in it and put it in ConOps until you are ready to go back to your room. Speaking of which, bring money. These events are not cheap. My com badge alone is $52 for Midwest this year. Hotel room, I don't even want to talk about that. But always bring money because you have no idea if you are going to be able to find that awesome figure of a character you like, or find this really nice looking fishing rod. It doesn't matter. Bring money. Don't bring money. What the hell are you doing? You're just going to sit there and just... What are you going to do? You've got to... Oh, another thing. When you're bringing money, keep it in a secure location. I've heard of people getting robbed at these things. I've never witnessed somebody getting robbed, but I've heard people getting robbed at these conventions. Or misplacing their money, and then somebody goes, I found $500. Another rule, and this one's one I've kind of learned. Nothing bad happened to me, but I learned this. Don't discuss how much you brought with you. And if you're bringing money, always keep some off to the side, because you don't know if you need to pay for gas, you need to go get some food, and then plan for anything. Be prepared. That is key. Now that part, it also doesn't matter if you're going to a convention, you're going to a concert, you're going to whatever. For the record, I bought my tickets to Megadeth for August. Always be prepared for anything. Make sure your car is up to date with licenses, insurance, and such. As much as I hate the idea of having to pay the state for anything, always keep that stuff up to date. Because you don't want to deal with the state or the cops. Ever. Also, don't bring anything illicit. Don't bring crack with you. Don't bring drugs with you. For the record, I don't care what people do with their own bodies. I really don't. But don't do it because you don't want to deal with the police. If you want to deal with the police, I can't help you. If you're one of those who goes, well, I'm not going to heed your warning, and if something happens to you, then I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Make sure everything is current. That what you are able to do, make sure everything's current. Otherwise, you're boned. Phone just went off again. What else? Oh, by the way, people, if you are going to these conventions because you were a very, very, very thirsty human being, all I have to say is, fellas, if you're thirsty boys, and let me tell you, I have been that way at cons before, and nothing happened. Always bring protection. I have heard stories of guys, being able to go to a room with a chick or two, and end up having to be the father of a couple babies. Be careful, and also be careful if you're hooking up with who you hook up. Remember, don't stick your dick in crazy. Ever. Otherwise, it's just not a pleasant situation. Well, I feel like I've gone over everything. If I missed anything, please leave a comment down below. Hell, tell me a comment on what you think of what I've said. Leave a comment on anything. You probably go, hey, Jared, I liked your video. Or, hey, Jared, you're a piece of shit. Or, whatever, I do what I want. Do whatever in the comment section. Just don't be an asshole. In life, don't be a dick. Don't be a cunt. Remember, consent is key. And just, if you're going to a con in the near future, keep an eye out. Like, help people. Like, somebody fall. All right. It was the middle of the outro, but then I just remembered a story. I was at Anime Zap earlier this year, which is a small convention over in East Peoria. Probably about, how many people were at that thing? Shit. Sorry, I'm doing a little research here, and I'm almost done with this video. That's embarrassing. Come on. Well, if I was approximating, I'd probably say about 1,200 people were at Anime Zap. Small convention, they can host it out of a hotel in the conference center at it. That's how small it is. But what you have to remember is keep an eye out. Like I said, I was in the outro and I remember the story. We're on our way over to a restaurant called Hokkaido, which was over in Peoria. We witnessed somebody end up falling and end up hitting their head. Because we're trying to help the person. We see blood on their head. It's like, well, shit. Keep an eye out for certain situations. Like if somebody gets hurt. Somebody's slip something into somebody's drink or whatever. Keep an eye out because shit could be going down. Well, anyway, like I said, I was in the middle of the outro, so I'm going to redo the outro. Thank you for watching this video, this near 25, 26 minute video. Please follow, please like, comment, subscribe. If you want to see more or whatever, like I said, subscribe. I am also on Twitter at JaredTheCat88, as in like TEH, instead of actually spelling the correctly. I'm also on Facebook at JaredTheCat88, and I'm on Twitch at JaredTheCat. I'll leave links in the description below. Have yourselves a good one. And remember, consent is key.